Crashing out to PSG last night was a painful one, but we're still going to react to it. So let's get into it. But in terms of analysing the game itself, right, and Arsenal's performance, I actually am really happy with how this team performed in terms of what they were able to do and all that they were capable of, considering the resources that we've got at the moment. Like, I don't think there's much more that these players could have done other than obviously scoring goals, but we'll get on to that whole debate and that topic in a second. But I look at that game and I look at each player and I look at them and say they definitely gave their all out there. I don't think there was any one of them that were half-arsing it. I feel like that every single one of them put in a performance. Yeah, sure, there were areas where we came up short, but, you know, we still gave it to PSG even when we went down after the first goal. But if we're going to talk about why this game was lost on both legs, we have to look at elsewhere in Arsenal Football Club. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be Cronky out and all of that nonsense, right? Because I feel like we've seen enough of a recovery of the ownership to maybe not go down that route. But one thing I would say with the leadership, the hierarchy at the club, this is on them as to why our Champions League campaign fizzled out and our Premier League campaign fizzled out in the way that they have. Because for a football club to win titles like the Premier League, like the Champions League, every single part of it needs to be firing at all cylinders. So to have two transfer windows that were complete duds, it means that we're always going to fall short because there's only so much the current crop of players can do and the manager can do under those circumstances. And I think that's what was the thinly veiled comment by Mikel Arteta about last night's game. Because he said the difference between the two teams and the two ties was what each team did in the box. Meaning that PSG have a lethal front three and were very efficient in front of goal. Whereas we don't even have a recognised striker to bring onto the pitch, and also our options in terms of attack are very, very limited. But, you know, you're going to have your same old people going viral. And I know rival fans are piping up. And that's just a part of football with the rival fans. But the people that are sitting there saying it's the manager, it's this, it's that, basically throwing as much stuff at the wall until it sticks. Yeah, this isn't your time. If you're clearly analytical about what's happened here, it's all to do with the transfer windows. And that's why we crashed out in the way that we did. But what that tells us is that we need to solidify second place in the league and then head to the transfer window ASAP and rectify our attack. But look, these are just my thoughts on the Arsenal and what has been a painful end to the season so far. Let me know what your thoughts are right there in the comments.